Hi, I am here with Don Allan, who is running for representative in the 36th RD downstate. It is a bit of Milford and a bit of Milton, between two rivers. Which rivers?
You got the Muskillian River on the north side and the Broadkill River on the south side.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk to Don today a little bit about why he's running and some of his views on some issues. So Don, why don't you start by just telling us briefly who you are, all of that stuff.
Okay, so I'm 36 years old, married to my wife Carrie for just over 5 years now. Been together, I think 9 now. And together we have a 3-year-old daughter, Josie. She's the most important thing in the world to me. One of the reasons I'm doing this, one of many. I'm a carpenter. I have been since I was 12 years old. My dad's a carpenter. 12 years old, he stuck a hammer in my hand and said, "You're starting to work summers, get to work," basically.
Nice.
So I've been doing that pretty much ever since, outside of a little sidestep into mechanical engineering. I hated being in front of a computer, it turns out.
So we've seen, to get to why we're here, but we've seen, a real influx the past couple of years of a lot of kind of new blood into the Democratic Party and into politics in general. This is a seat, how long, the seat that you're running for, how long has it been held by a Republican?
Since 1984. And in that time, that's 2 Republicans, I think, have held it since 1984. They've managed to introduce 3 whole bills since 1984.
Wow.
3 whole bills.
Interesting.
And 2 of them had to do with a tax ditch, too.
Interesting. So this is really kind of a big deal, so to speak, that you're running for this seat. So what made you, especially in a seat that's been held by the opposing party and from which you're running, what would make you want to run for that?
Well, the first thing is, I think there's nothing more un-American than unopposed elections. Can't stand it. We haven't had a Democrat run in my seat since 2010. And actually in 2010, the Republican only got 54% of the vote. Why no Democrat stepped up to run in between 2010 and 2018, I couldn't answer for you. Democrats carried our district in 2012, a few of them. So that's one of the main reasons I'm running, just to give people a choice. Trump is certainly a reason. I don't want my daughter growing up in Trump's America, the things he says. That's not where I want my country to go. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that's not where it goes. I want to at least be able to tell my daughter I tried. I think there's nothing more important than stepping up and trying to get your country going in the right direction. Those are 2 of the big reasons. Outside of that, policy issues. We have a lot of clean water issues going on in my area. If you live below the canal in the state of Delaware, 100% of your drinking water comes from the ground. And we have a lot of issues from past industrial uses, current industrial uses, some past agricultural issues going on that have really done some harm to the water. I want to try to fix that. And then I'm a working class guy. I've been working class my whole life. My whole family's been working class. My adopted brother's a union welder. My sisters are nursing assistants. My dad's still a carpenter. My grandfather was an auto worker up here in Newark. I just feel like government's gotten so focused on corporations. Both parties, honestly. Both parties so focused on corporations and the upper class and that kind of thing. And, making sure government's more focused on the little guy and not so much on corporations is one of my primary goals as well.
Good. One thing we'll clear up too, I noticed, for anybody who's noticing, you might be looking at this whole time, and I've been kind of teasing you, letting you think, what's that sticker on his hand? So would you explain that sticker on your hand?
Oh yeah, so my daughter and wife rode up with me. They're actually at a zoo right now. And we were doing stickers on the way up. So when my daughter gives me a sticker, I'm not allowed to take it off till she says it's okay. So this is my sticker for the day. It's a crab, represents our area pretty well, I think. But yeah, we had a big sticker book full of sharks.
Now, how old is your daughter again? I'm sorry.
She's 3. She'll be 4 in September.
So what you're telling us is if she's in charge of you...
She's totally the boss.
So you're saying a 4-year-old then would actually hold this seat if you were to win?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'll ask her advice on all policy issues.
Children are wise.
Children are wise beyond their years. One thing I've been saying for a while now is adults just kind of mess things up sometimes.
That's true. So... you don't have the background in politics per se.
No.
A lot of what we see in Delaware, we have a lot of, in the legislature, we have a lot of lawyers, a lot of retired police officers. Accountants, exactly. Yeah. So where you're coming from, what kind of, I have my opinions, but in your mind, what kind of strength does that give you?
I think it's first being able to listen to people and see where they actually want their state government to go. I'm just a regular person. I didn't go to, I'm not a poli-sci major. I'm not, like you said, a lawyer, an accountant, just a carpenter who's always been interested in politics. Actually, I can remember back to second grade, I was one of, I think, 4 kids in my class to vote for Michael Dukakis in our mock election. So hopefully we fare a little better than that. But I think that's, just relating to people and having held a normal job, not having run for elected office, not thinking any elected office is a stepping stone to the next one. Honestly, not wanting this to be my whole life. I'm in it for now. I'm planning on winning and planning on sticking around for at least, a couple of terms, hopefully. But I don't see this as a lifelong, a direction that my life is going to go forever. I don't necessarily want my daughter to be in high school and still be in elected office, and that would probably be tough on a child. Right. So just, wanting to go in there, make some changes, fix some things, get back out and get back to my life.
Right. And I know I'm from Southern Delaware. I grew up in Bridgeville. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of things now that, especially when I go down a few times a year to visit family, I see have changed. And I'm sure we'll get into a lot more of that with the policy stuff. Yeah. But Sussex County and it really has changed. And Sussex County really has some very unique political, social, economic problems mm-hmm. that a lot of people, I think, above the canal or what have you, don't really recognize things like agriculture and water quality. So in my mind, that also would make you a great candidate because you know so much about those things and you live with those things every day. Yeah,
there's a spray field for agricultural treatment right behind my house. And we see that a lot in our county. And the county's changing pretty quickly too. Mm-hmm. We don't get our share of state money for infrastructure. I mean, we struggle so much with roads, and some school districts struggle so much with funding. And just getting our fair share back to the county by sending a Democrat up there, we're voices in the room with the party that actually controls government and actually can direct funding back down to where we need it.
What do you think is maybe the worst thing about our current political environment, and what do you think is the best thing about it?
Okay, the worst thing is social media. You get on there and you start to bring up a political point, and then you instantaneously get the extreme on either side responding to you, and you don't get the average person, they don't spend most of their time thinking about political issues when you think about it. So I would say that's the worst thing. Like I remember being completely obsessed with Twitter for a brief period of time. And then just looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, you spent an hour and a half here just scrolling through tweets and you've accomplished nothing other than getting yourself angry. So, I would say that's the worst thing. The best thing, honestly, is when we're out knocking on doors and just talking to everyday people who, they're not super involved in politics. They have their opinions about which way they'd like certain things to go. But for the most part, whether they're a Republican or a Democrat, their views don't necessarily line up. They almost never line up completely with one side or the other. And just being able to talk to them. Last week I knocked on somebody's door. The wife is a Democrat. She works at Cape High. She's an art teacher, I think. And the husband used to be a union welder. He's retired now, still tinkers around a lot in the back shop. And when we knocked on the door, we got the art teacher first, the Democrat who we were actually knocking on the door for. So we talked to her a little bit, and she's like, "Okay, were you, you're a Democrat?" She's like, "I am." And at that point, I was like, "Oh, your husband isn't." So she's like, "No, he's a Trump voter." I was like, "Oh, can we talk to him too?" She's like, "You want to talk to him?" I was like, "Absolutely." I want to talk to everybody, as many people as I can. So we had about a 15-minute conversation on his front porch. He went and got us a couple of bottles of water. We were sitting down on his front porch, just talking about things, talking about how we don't teach kids trades anymore. We try to send everybody to college. Just talking about what it's like growing up as a working class person. At the end of that, he was asking for a yard sign. So I love talking to those people, and I think that's the way we can kind of fix things, hopefully. The more involvement we had, you mentioned young blood earlier, the more people we can get out actually talking to people, maybe we can mend fences a little bit, right, and hopefully stop some of the toxic talk that goes on. I hope, I'm an old millennial, but I'm a millennial, I guess. I hope that our generation can kind of fix that a little bit. Right. We grew up with social media for the most part, and the internet, and hopefully it doesn't take too long, but hopefully we can fix that.
And I'll put a quick plug out there, in terms of door knocking, hey, come join us sometime. We do a lot of door knocking, but
We actually have people knocking doors right now as we speak.
Lots of candidates up here, downstate. Yeah. But the one thing that's always impressed me with door knocking, I was so scared the first door I knocked on.
Yeah, terrified me too.
People are so much kinder than the media and social media would lead you to believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never had a confrontation that made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yep.
I've had a handful of people close the door, say no thanks, and that's fine. But really, to your point, people have so much more in common than not.
Yeah,
so
we all live in the same area. We all want people still all want the basic thing. They want to be able to afford a roof over their heads, make a decent wage, take a vacation once in a while, have their kids grow up in a safe school, safe environment, have their kids go off to college or trade school or get a job out of high school and be able to stay somewhat close to them.
Right.
It's pretty much all anybody wants.
Yeah.
And whether you have an R next to your name, a D next to your name, or you're independent. We all want basically the same thing.
Well, we certainly hope we get you into the state legislature so you can be that voice. We're glad to know that you'll be run by a 4-year-old. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
With the bad sticker habit.
Yeah. You can be the representative with a sticker.
I guarantee you, I will go there almost every day with stickers all over me.
That's awesome.
She wanted to cover me completely in stickers. We were able to keep it to one.
Fine. Good compromise. Right?
Yeah, compromise.
Good. Well, in our next segment, we're going to move into the policy aspect, some nitty gritty. So thank you for watching.